So we finished chapter 15, right, last time? Everybody kind of remember that? So today's the review day. Before I just release you guys to work on your stuff, let's take a final pass at questions from the homework. And then we'll talk a little bit about the test format after that, and then you can get on your way. Sound good? Yeah. Cool! Who's up first? I think at this point, all the way up to 184, anything is in play. We've assigned it all. All right, well, cool then. If you change your mind when we're working on stuff, we can always come back and talk about that again. So let's do the test format then, yes? All right. So chapter 15 test. Hi, Eric. What do you guys think? We're scheduled for Wednesday. Let's do partner. What do you think?
Yes.
Especially since this wrapped prior to spring break, that's probably like a little bit helpful. So try to find somebody today while we're doing the reviewing. As usual, you guys can have a half sheet of notes. Each person can have their own separate half sheet of notes. So it'll turn into like a whole sheet, I guess, if you and your partner are going to collaborate beforehand, which is fine. It's whatever. All right. If you prefer to go on your own, that's fine. Like, you're not obligated, but we can't do any threes. So it's 2 or solo, no threes. Everybody got that? 2 is fine, solo is fine, no threes or more. All right. So the test format, what do I got here? I think I have 9 questions that I have. So we have one, most of them have, or a lot of them have multiple parts or whatever. So you have one like logistic kind of story problem, kind of like we would have done in section 1. You have 2 solving exponential or logarithmic equations like you would have seen in section 4. You have another like story problem like you would have seen in section 4. You have an expanding problem like we would have seen in section 3. And then we have, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4 like financial story problems like we would have seen in section 5.
And then are we given equations?
Yeah, so the review packet is up on Power School or whatever, and the equation sheet is the last page. So this is all the stuff that you're given. This is the exact sheet that is on the test. So again, when you're making your half sheet, you don't need to include any of this information because it'll all be given to you. You can stick with like specific examples of kinds of problems. You're like, I wanted some help on this kind of problem. Yeah.
Did you say that? Are you putting most of the equations on the test?
This is the equation sheet for the test. It's on the review. It's the last page of the review that's in OneNote. So you can certainly be looking at that as you're making your equation sheet. As usual, the equation sheet due before the test, so I would take some time today and try to bang that out and turn it into me here. If worse comes to worse, you can do it tomorrow. It's not the end of the world. But once that first test gets handed out, no more equation sheets can be handed in. Leo.
I know you verbally said it, but can you write down what we should be looking for on the test?
Yeah, you could.
Because I'm gonna forget it, or just say it one more time so I can write it down.
Right. Well, it's also on the video too. Right.
That's true.
But yes, we
It's
can.
easier for me right now.
We can do it one more time. That's not unreasonable. I just had to like rub your nose in it a little bit. That it's you could still get it, but that's fine. No problem. So the first, you have one question that's like a logistic function story problem. This would have been like section 1 kind of thing. Solve, we have 2. Solve a exponential or logarithmic equation. That's like a section 4 problem. There's 2 like that. And then we have like a like a real life kind of story problem, like we did in section 4. We have an expander condensed logarithms problem. That would have been something we would have done in section 3. And then we have 4 of these, four financial story problems, like we did in section 15.5.
Thank you.
Sure. Okay. Any more clarifications or questions or follow-ups or anything else from you guys? Okay. So this thing that I just typed in is in OneNote now, so if you forget, you can always come back and look at it, or if you zoned out and weren't really paying attention here, you can always come back and look at it. As you're working on stuff here, if you have any questions on anything, feel free to come up and bother me. It's no bother at all. It's actually what I'm being paid to do, so get your money's worth. Yeah. Sound good? Everybody reasonably happy?
Yeah.
Okay. Hopefully that was a lot of good news you had today. And so we'll stop.